Brian and Kathy Elvins were also always there for me. Brian and Kathy Elvins were always there for me. Sometimes when I'm having a bad day, Kathy says, "I heard you are having a bad day. Would you like to talk about it?" What does she get out of that? She is showing so much compassion just in that one gesture. This was not just once. This kindness from them was spread over and over again into others, not just me. They helped me with getting my emotions in check, not by telling me what to do, but by telling me that they loved me. And because I felt loved, I felt like I mattered, which means you start to think about your choices and how they could potentially affect others. Now, you aren't supposed to do everything everyone wants you to do to make them happy, but you are supposed to care for others the way you would want them to care for you, showing compassion, love, and kindness. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered, and it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, and always hopes, and always perseveres. Love never fails. 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8. I was super broken when I first moved in with them. When I first moved in, remember, I didn't have a job. I focused on music for 2 solid months to try and get my mental health on track. At this point, I was drifting away from God. He told me to leave the girl I was with. I didn't want to because I was scared. And for 2 years after he told me that, I stalled. It was a battle for sure. A very hard one. And guys, when you are in a battle with God, He will always win. Eventually, I knew it was time to start working again, so I applied to many places and ended up getting a job at a Starbucks distribution center in Auburn, Washington. My coworkers sucked though. They all talked behind my back, and they were full of drama and lies, and I was not being trained well at all. I honestly believe that they treated me like that because I was a 20-year-old that thought I was going to make it as a big music star someday. I sat there at my desk for the first week with nothing to do, and there was a lot of that. When I first started, I told them in my interview that I needed to have time for music. A month in, they completely were unloyal to what they agreed to. Well, because of all of that and having nothing to do, I had a lot of time to sit in front of a computer. So I started emailing with Brian every day. He would email me back. He is a stockbroker. And he has his own business that he runs out of his downstairs office. We would talk about God a lot, how I can improve my life, how I can improve with finances, how I could improve my relationships. Sometimes I would send him random thank you emails for being so kind to me. We became very close. One of the emails he sent to me one day was a prayer that he prayed for me, and I would like to share that prayer right now. Brian's prayer. Dear God. Dear God, a few months ago you brought one of your children into my life, Kira Michele Crandall. Kira had a difficult past, and when she needed you the most, she found you. I think you saved her from a very dark path. Thank you for that. You do work miracles. Kira has given her life and spiritual soul to you. She loves you and knows that you are the eternal light. She knows that your son died for our sins, and she reads about you every day to build her belief in you and love for you. I love Kira as much as anyone in my life. I believe you brought Kira into my life to help me believe more in you and make me a better person. Thank you for that, God. I am forever grateful. As you know, God, life is a continual process of healing our soul and strengthening our belief and love for you. Kira is not questioning her love for you and knows that you and her belief in you are her strength, but right now she is a little confused. She is experiencing some people in her life that are not being kind to her, and she doesn't understand it. She is getting a little impatient and wants to heal too quickly, and she is afraid to trust people who truly love her. Sometimes, God, I think she is too smart and thinks she can solve everything on her own, and we know that is not so. We need to rely on you and the people who love us. I love Kira so much, God, and I want her to trust me and know that I was sent to her by you to help. Kira needs my help, Sherry's help, Mariah's help, Kathy's help, and most of all, your help, God, to keep her on the right track. She is still very fragile and can easily be influenced by bad thoughts that will hurt her. She needs to love herself more. God, she is really one of your very, very special children. God, please help Kira heal. She reached out to you when she needed you the most, and you found her. Without you, the path was dark. She needs you now to keep her moving forward. Please help Kira love herself and help her know how special she is. Give Kira the strength to reach out and ask for help. Give Kira the strength to be patient. Give Kira the strength to reject thoughts and actions that will hurt her. And give Kira the strength to always believe in you. Please, God, I know you have a lot of people to look after, but a little extra time for Kira would really help. With all my love for God Almighty, Brian. Him and Kathy became my bonus parents. The emails, talks, messages, whatever form of communication it was, they were full of appreciation, validation, love, reassurance, and showed me that I was lovable. Kathy, every night, would cook dinner, and she wanted to teach me how to cook, and so sometimes we would cook together. I called it Cooking with Kathy. Then we would sit around the dinner table and have dinner. We would pray and then eat. It was beautiful. When I was first living with Brian and Kathy, my partner at the time ended up moving in with me. We would fight every single day. We would even start hitting each other. We said the rudest things. We would hurt each other all the time, screaming at the top of our lungs. I wanted to leave the relationship for a year or two at that point, but I was really scared to hurt her and to be alone. I didn't want her to feel alone either. I would cry to Brian and Kathy all the time about how I wanted to leave her and that God had told me to. They would see me come home and starting bawling my eyes out about how much I wanted to leave, but I couldn't because I was scared to hurt her. Brian and Kathy heard many, many fights between her and I. One morning, Brian came into my room, woke us both up, and told us to go to the table in the kitchen. He told us that this relationship is toxic and something seriously needs to change. She ended up moving in with her mom, and I stayed at Brian's. Now I know it sounds like it was tough to deal with. Now I know it sounds like I was tough to deal with. But let me assure you, actually, no assurance. I was completely tough to deal with. I would like to share with you what Brian's side of the story is of us meeting. Brian's story. As we go through the routine of our daily lives, occasionally something may occur where the full impact is not felt or fully understood at the moment. 3.5 years ago, my wife and I were introduced to a 19-year-old musician. She performed for us at a summer backyard barbecue. Because I was the host of the party, I was not able to listen to much of her performance. She had just finished a demo CD and left us a copy so we could listen to her music later. The next weekend, I was visiting friends. I had a 4-hour drive, which gave me an opportunity to listen to her demo CD. The 4th song of the 5-song demo is called I Can't Love Me. Her words, her vocals, and the tempo of the song resonated with me, and I became very emotional. Maybe we have all felt at some point, I can't love me. At that moment, although I didn't know it, my life would change forever. The young, shy, and scared girl who played that Saturday night in our backyard is Kira Michele. A year later, we had Kira perform for a second time. She was still very shy and scared, and you can tell that life over the last year had been challenging for her. Our kids were no longer living with us, so we asked Kira if she would like to move in. We felt we could be a positive influence on her life. Kira moving in with my wife and I was the start of a wonderful journey that we are still living today. The journey has its own emotional ups and downs, but we have both grown to love Kira like she was one of our own. We have seen Kira change from a very scared and confused young girl to a confident and hardworking young woman. When Kira first moved in, she would read the Bible every morning. As I was reading the paper, she would ask me what I knew about God. She asked me a couple of times if I wanted to pray and give my heart to God. My answer was always, no, I'm fine. I was raised Catholic and I went to church every Sunday, But around the age of 14, our family stopped going to church. From that point on, I did not have any connection with God in my life. A year ago, when I was sitting with Kira at the studio where she records, she asked me if I wanted to give my heart to God. It was the day that I was ready to say, yes, I am ready, and I'll give my heart to God. And it was that day that the impact of having Kira in my life would become even more meaningful. Having a 19-year-old stranger move into your home is challenging. When we asked Kira to move in, I think my wife and I felt she would live with us for maybe 6 months, and then she would move out. We had no idea that we would become as close to her as we are. Kira is part of our family and always will be. The definition of family tends to be focused on the biological aspects of a family. But a family is people who support each other through life's challenges, respect each other for the person they are, and provide the family members with the love we all need and want. My wife and I love Kira very much, and although she is not a part of our biological family, she is part of our family. The words I have used many times about our feelings for Kira and what she means to us is true love. We are both so very proud of Kira and all the positive changes she has made in her life. Her new CD is incredible. I hope you enjoy it and purchase multiple copies for your families and friends. Kira's words are emotional, sometimes hard to hear, but words that resonate with all of us. My favorite song is Thoughts of You. Enjoy, Brian Elvins. The reason I am telling you all of this is because I want to be super honest about my story. A lot of people think that I have had everything handed to me, but that's not true. It was a constant fight. It was a battle every single day, and it still is. The battles are just way easier to win. God told me to leave the relationship the day after I accepted Jesus into my heart. I did not listen immediately. I was fighting against God and what His plans were for me. I wanted to stay in the relationship. God always wants what's best for you. He loves you so, so much. I saw a picture one time that showed Jesus kneeling in front of a little girl. The little girl was holding on to her favorite little teddy bear. Super, super tight. Her teddy was a small teddy. Jesus had a way bigger teddy behind his back, and he knew that she would love it. And it showed a thought bubble above him that said, "Just trust me." It's that simple. We hold on to what we know and what we are comfortable with, even if it's super small and you know you can do better. In order for you to receive your new gift, you have to let go of the old. We have to let go of what we have now before we can grab something else, something new. God won't give you the new blessing if you don't let go of what you're already holding on to. I encourage you to really listen to what God is telling you to let go. It's way easier said than done, but once you let go, there's something else God has for you. When I finally listened and left my relationship, I felt like I could breathe. And something else happened. Remember when I said that I was super scared of men? I always thought they were cute, but never wanted to be with one. God changed me. I thought I was stuck in this life. I thought I couldn't change, but God changed me. I met a guy who is now one of my best friends, and we dated for a while. He is an amazing man, and he was brought to the Lord through our relationship. I love you, Kyle. When I met Kyle, I had a new job. I went from the Starbucks job to selling ADT home security systems. I became one of the top sales reps. I started making good money again, and I was able to invest in the music. That job lasted about 6 to 7 months. Then I heard from God again. He said, "Make a decision." It took me a couple weeks to really understand what He meant. But once I finally understood, this is what He was saying. It was time to make a decision. Am I going to do music full-time or sales? I would have to drop everything just to do music full-time. I would have to find a new way to start making money to pay my bills and still be present with my music career every day. When God tells you to do something, you feel the pressure. And boy, oh boy, I did. So what did I do? I made a decision. I quit ADT to launch into music full-time.